Hello everyone, my name is ConnorKeyXE, I'm also known as the Shift HD, and today I'm going to be talking about whether gaming graphics are going to be too realistic in the future. Now for example, today we have graphics and characters don't resemble real life people all that well. They do in tech demos, but we don't actually necessarily see all these ridiculous animations, textures and things like that unless it's actually a tech demo. So then, my point is, what is going to happen with these graphics? Are they going to be too realistic that it's going to put you out of place? It's not going to feel more of a game anymore. You'll know it's a game, but it won't feel like a game because it's far too realistic. We're used to seeing all these character models, custom designs and animations, as well as meshes. Just anything that you would normally use to make a game. The engines, for example. We're obviously starting to use like 3D technology, where we can put the motion sensors, things like that, all over the person that's going to be acting, and then record them and get those data and then put it into the engine so it's fluid movements using real actors. Now in the future I can see that we probably aren't going to use actors unless they're going to be voice actors. Because animation like Final Fantasy and things like that and just general graphics are going, you know, they're hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of bloody polygons, and they're only advancing around about 25% per year, which in retrospective is actually still quite a lot. So if you started off in the 1990s and you managed to get a million polygons for a dinosaur like Jurassic Park or something or other, think of it as a 10-year increment, and if Jurassic Park was done today, I don't think we'd have much of a difference in graphics from Jurassic Park, because if you look at that game, the movie today, it's still absolutely amazing. The graphics and the shading, shadows and everything else, the detail is just still pucker. And you know, you can actually tell the difference between obviously models and graphics, but then you look at the graphics and you think, these are actually really lifelike. They look realistic, photo-realistic if anything, but of course there's still imagination behind it because we don't actually know what the dinosaurs look like, so you have to use an art direction and everything else. So if we were just to use realistic and photorealistic games, so you import, for example, your town and you play GTA, that would be an interesting idea. However, they have to cartoon the graphics a little bit. The exteriors, the buildings and things like that, I'm not bothered about that, but the actual characters themselves, the actual playable characters, are they going to become too realistic that it does no longer feel like a game? I think it may be the case. You see these characters in game at the moment, you know, their heads aren't exactly the greatest in polygons. You know, they've still, like say for example, go back a couple of years and you look at Hitman 2. Hitman's bald head had quite a lot of edges to it, so do trees and things like that in game. So, let's think of it this way. Now you got Hitman Absolution, and Hitman's head looks really, really nice and smooth, but you can still see it's a game, because it's got its traditional game flaws. Now imagine if it actually becomes to the point where we're just using real life characters, making real life movies and things like that, rather than using our fantasy realm to create awesome stuff, you know, magic and things like that. Awesome spells, ridiculously detailed compared to what actually is in real life. Games are another chance to expand your imagination and go absolutely wild with what you want to do. You can make so many obscene things, it's unreal, but then obviously in real life it's going to look and perceive a little bit more differently than you would normally expect. We're still quite far away. They reckon 10-15 years we'll have literally photorealistic stuff, but then you look at Unreal Engine and CryEngine and a few other brand new next generation engines that are out now. They're pretty damn close as it is, but it's still, you can tell it's a game at its core. You can still see that it's got faults, you can still see edges, you can still see that grass and trees really aren't the strong point in some of these engines. I think for example Unreal Engine and CryEngine and Frostbite, they offer some of the best looking trees around, but at the end of the day the grass doesn't look particularly nice. In other games and in other engines, they need to iron out these things first before they start going on to actual character models. I think they should keep the characters looking the way that they do. Just enhance here, there and everywhere, but don't exactly import someone from the real life, because if you know them then and you play the game, it's not going to feel like a game anymore. You're playing your friend, in a way. Or you might be controlling your friend, is another way to put it. So say for example, if you all got a game that I had starred in, for example, I was the person that they modelled on. I did the animations and things like that. I did the voice acting as well on top of it, the facial animations and everything else. I am the character that you play. Imagine then I give you how many copies or how many people actually watched this video, and then you played it and you saw my face in real life and you know me kind of thing. It doesn't fit. It doesn't feel like a game anymore because you're playing me but in some kind of weird fantasy world. I'm gonna have to go because my cats are shouting downstairs for some stupid reason and I'm not too sure why. So everyone think about that. Is games going to become too realistic that it no longer feels like a game? What do you think? I think it's going to be the case. So, what's your input? I shall see you all soon, and I'll be back later. Bye!
This way.